Alright, we should be good now. So, Power Hour stream here. Purple Stop Sign, welcome back in. Masha, welcome. Mig, welcome. So, we're gonna try to see we're getting some good, kind of some decent flow now after the kind of quieter morning here. Let's take a peek at these ALKS 112134s that just hit the feed here. So up 3% on the day already. 2 weeks out here. I gotta shut this thing down. So let's take a peek here. So it looks like that IV might kind of be okay. So only volume on this contract, obviously. Let's go back to it. Maybe, come on. Don't give me internet problems, it's a Friday. Come on, there we go. So 77.62, so small drop there, comes back up. These are coming in above the ask, so that is really interesting there to me. I'm guessing it looks like that ask probably is 130 the entire time. That spread is just horrendous up here towards the end. So I'm guessing that typical spread is that nasty big 45 to 130. Probably would avoid something that big. Obviously being up a lot on the day already there too. See what else we had. Those MicroStrategy calls that came in earlier, so I can show everybody why these went into I was gonna say Spotlight Flow or Developing Flow. I changed the name there. So these, when they were coming in, you can see that spot kind of just bouncing all over the place there. And wow, yeah, those are really moving there. When you look at them here too. Like you can see IV there, and then it's dropping. So that IV's all over the place. So, I mean, good example there where the flow, I mean, your IV's kind of bouncing around, but it makes the move in the correct direction. But obviously those making a big move there. Let's see what else we got coming in. Nasty spread on these. Let's take a peek. 2030, we're up kind of big on the day on that. 38% out of the money. 203, 223. I suppose we want to, wait, where's that other piece of flow that came in right after that? So 230, 205. Yeah, that spread is really bad, but come here. 100, yeah. I mean, that IV's just kind of all over on this. I mean, oh, well, then you got the big spike there. I just don't like it being it's almost a mid-fill there, and that's just a nasty spread. That's something you kind of want to stay away from. It's hard. It might run. It looks like it's kind of running there already, but that spread is just really, really tough on something like that. Some SPY calls coming in here, 1,000 contracts. So that call premium is finally picking up there a little bit. Put premium is dropping. How are we looking for holdings? Bid side there. Calls are kind of coming back there a little bit. Let's look at that flow. So these do look like buys to me. Got a lot of volume, not too much volume earlier. Let's see. So IV spikes, 1496. So 1496, 1402. So then you kind of have that IV drop a little bit here. Kind of hard to know if this is kind of related to that. I mean, timing, you're off by about 20 seconds or so between all that. Hard to kind of fully know there. 16% out of the money with 223 days though. Might not be a bad pickup there. Premium's pretty decent on that. And then here comes some more puts. Not going to probably be able to track this, or we'll see if we can see anything notable. Yeah, we can. So 7,000 contracts. Well, you're sitting at 83% multi-leg. Just heard somebody make a noise. Oh, I was like, where's the dog? I heard him go. He's laying on the couch behind me. Yeah, I just don't like the 83% multi-leg on those ones. How are we looking tide-wise? Oh, coming back down a little bit there. But those call premiums picked back up. Put premiums kind of selling off. We've been pretty flat for most of the day. I mean, Nvidia and Tesla, Meta, kind of your three there, and SPY, Strategy, IWM, kind of bringing them up there a little bit. Got these Apple calls from yesterday. I think that whale's probably dumping these. A lot of bid side stuff today. My guess is they're dumping those here. I mean, they not too bad of a loss there on something like those, but hard to know what's going to happen. I mean, I have to check that open interest Monday. The Apple's M1. My guess is I mean, we are, if you look at the week here, so you look at the week, I mean, well, we'll just go back, yeah, we'll go back to 11.3 here. I mean, we were down almost 6% between the highs there, obviously, on the 3rd till now, so probably going to see some dip buys at some point here. I mean, 6% is a pretty big drop in the market. But the Apple ones, let me go back to those. Yeah, those yesterday, those were interesting because, I mean, you had a lot of big premium there. I mean, how much was our premium here yesterday? 4.8 million on that chain yesterday. And then a lot of bid side today, so I'll have to see what happens. More than likely, I'm going to say they're probably exiting, but would want to check that open interest Monday. Let's see what we got. I'm hearing dings. Some IWM puts. Are these the ones from earlier? The 226s were the 42-day out ones. 7 million on that guy. A lot of volume yesterday. I want to take a peek at that. Yeah, you probably want to check open interest on something like this, but let's see if we can take a peek at the flow and see if we find anything we like in here. So let's see. So IV spikes originally. IV comes up here, 26.38. Our spot increases. 35, 38. It's just kind of bouncing, drops here again, then drops here, then drops here at the end, and then not a big drop. So 26.34, and then you have that IV drop. These almost look like sells here to me at the ask. Hard to know because that IV is just kind of all over the place, and you're back up here again. But my guess is, let's see, I'm just trying to see 374, 365. Could have been short. Maybe they didn't get out here towards the top. They're just kind of taking a small break-even loss there. Yeah, I'd want to double check that open interest though on Monday. I didn't like that. Didn't like how that flow looked there. Nasty spread there. Airbnb here, 161 days. Not the biggest size. Take a peek at that. The spread's not the best either. Then here you are as a block trade, so you can't really get any info out of that. A lot of put premium though on the day. And I know we had earnings last night on it, but a lot more put volume today too than yesterday. See what else we got going on. XYZ. Take a peek here. I just seen a lot of put premium still, just not a lot of call premium. 1% out of the money, 14 days. You're down almost a little over 6.5%. Could be a small little dip buy bet here. Let's see if we can find anything interesting. So your IV spikes here. That looks good there to me. 640. So those look good there, and then you even have a little more volume coming in here about 6 minutes after, so probably not the same person. But yeah, at first glance I'd say these look like a buy. Coming in at the ask, that IV increased. Down a lot on the day. Let's see, what time did this come in? 145, 150. So about right in here, so a little bit before that run up. So coming already back to break even on those then. How are we looking in the market here? It's a nice looking daily candle though. Dip buyers really stepping in there. I'm mad because I figured a little bit earlier in the day that we were gonna probably seemed like we were gonna be kind of range bound here, and I had my range kind of set in here, and I ended up trying to get some calls here on that near the bottom of the channel there, and then kind of came down, and then obviously would have turned out if he would have held, but I just played a little 0-day lotto, so not anything big there. Off those shop puts, that I want to look at that shop chart. I didn't look at that chart today. I only looked at it when Bruno, you said something about it, and I was like, oh. Yeah, I mean, that was a beauty of a play there, especially if you would have swung it for a couple days. Because it was come up here and reject near the top of that uptrend there, and I mean, we came there, hit that, and just down from there. 166 and then down to 146, almost a $20 drop. That's insane. And if you would have took that, even on the little momentum entry there, I mean, probably would have stopped out there on that big run up there that same day. But if not, I mean, still could have made some little decent profits there. But even if you would have took that momentum entry down yesterday, would have really got a good move there. But that uptrend test was your big spot there. Caesar, I haven't looked at these. I gotta recap this a little bit later as well too. Yeah, these were from the 3rd, I believe. I don't have my spreadsheet up. I don't want to pull it up. I'm lazy. Yeah, I think we came down, opened, and then we popped on that one, and then. So Bruno, I know you asked me specifically if this was a re-entry. You can see why I didn't want to probably re-enter it. I mean, obviously you're retesting that bottom of that channel there now, but I was just kind of looking for a little quick pop on something like that, and that whale, I believe, was only 14 days out. I wonder if they're still in. Let's look. Yeah, so I mean, that was a whale 60. We got in here, I think my fill was 63 or so, and then we popped that same day, took those profits, and then whale looks to still be in, obviously. 2 weeks left on those, and trading at 33. A lot of up pretty big today too. A lot of call volume here. Let's go back 7 days. It's still just relatively flat though. And those shot puts, I wonder if that whale's still in. Yeah, that whale's still in there. So 168, and then if you would have got it in at the low when we hit that uptrend about that 180-ish to 170-ish range, and then if you would have held to today, high of 5. The XMTRs, those made a good move today. choppy, choppy, choppy. We opened there, then kind of popped here a little bit, 359. I have a stop on for sure then. Those IRIN calls got smashed. I think that whale actually exited yesterday because had about 1,000 contracts there, 730 there, then another about 1,000 there, and some other little volume throughout the day, but a lot of that volume's still kind of there, so maybe some contracts passed off to somebody else, but I think that original whale kind of got out there quick. SPY puts, I don't even have to recap these, we know those popped. And this was actually the original whale down there, 2,000 contracts, and then had another pop there. Earnings season's pretty much done now, Bruno. I mean, we have, I'll pull up the calendar here. Like next week's really quiet for earnings. Thankfully, I can sleep again. I'm used to getting up at like 5 a.m. during earnings season in the morning, and it sucks. But yeah, like next week, a little lighter. I mean, Oxy for oil, and then Disney. That's kind of mostly it. I mean, your mega caps are pretty much mostly done here. Very light. I mean, 2% of the weight, 1% of the weight for S&P and NASDAQ here. But the week after, I believe we have NVIDIA and some retail, yeah. So just kind of looking Home Depot. Home Depot will be a big one. TJ Maxx, Lowe's, Target, NVIDIA. Yeah, and then after this, I mean, from that 21st, from the 24th after, I mean, you're pretty much done then. So you really only have about 7 bigger names left to kind of watch for earnings, at least for Q3. But let's go back. Yeah, I mean, Bruno, NVIDIA is going to be your next big one. I mean, other than that, I mean, Target, Walmart, obviously really consumer heavy, so eyes on those as well too, but we're getting to the end of it, so I mean, and next week too, economic wise, we should, and this is really interesting to me too, I didn't know ADP started releasing employment changes weekly now, so that's really interesting and new to me. So when you come back here and look, I mean, it started last week, so it's newer data, but we'll get some data while the government's still shut down, at least. So I mean, oh shit, I gotta go back. Let's see, economic. So yeah, I mean, employment change next week. A lot of Fed speakers next week. We are missing CPI next week. Obviously, weekly claims data, PPI. So yeah, I mean, we're missing inflation data next week, but again, mostly Fed speakers next week, and then your ADP employment weekly change. So quiet economic week next week, so we should, knock on wood, have a lot of decent setups flow-wise. Usually on those quieter weeks, you kind of, the market's not really, you know, worried about, oh, here comes CPI, here comes PPI. Market is already there, and you kind of, I don't want to say free flow, I mean, you're more or less inclined to kind of be nervous because you know there's not going to be a report that's going to damage your position. But obviously, as the government remains shut down too, that's going to be something to watch. I know they were talking about airlines cutting 20% of the flights, so that's not good for airline stocks. So something to watch there for sure as well. But yeah, so in our flow recap as well, I'm going to do an additional video, so our flow and charts video is going to be separate from that, so we'll have a breakdown on the Caesar and Shop ideas from earlier in the week, which is pop lift puts. Let's look at these quick, and then I'll get back to blabbing here. Lift, we don't overlap earnings. Something interesting going on here. 3% out of the money, 2% multi-leg. 53. Okay, so our IV pops when that comes in. 333. We look good. These look like buys to me. Your put premiums picking up, calls kind of dropping. Looks like lifts kind of pulling back a little bit there. Those look good to me. The lifts there. I do want to. So I plan on adding in 2 new channels. It's probably going to be tonight or early tomorrow morning, but it's going to be utilizing the market map. So I kind of want to show you while we're waiting for some flow to come in. Oh, not market tide. Let's see. I'm going to pull up your chart here quick, Bruno. 1 second. Lift. Yeah, I see that, and that's one thing that's really good there. Like if you can quickly chart something out like that, I'm going to pop this in here. So like Bruno just went in there, checked the trend there quick, so it looks like a trend line rejection. So good find there. I mean, if you're really quick at finding that flow and pulling up a chart quick, something like that, you like the flow, you like the chart, bang, there you go, something like that. So yeah, with the market map, as we wait for some flow to come in, I'm planning on, because I added in 2, let's see, 97, so long term, and we overlap earnings. We're just going to quickly look at it. Down a lot on the day, don't like that. 18% out of the money. Yeah, 1 second, purple stop sign. I will pull it back up here for you. 4706, just kind of quickly looking at this. You can kind of just see how I quickly scan it. So yeah, that's the first trade on that chain. Pass on that. Let's look at that lift one more time for you. It is the 12.19.21 put there. 118K, 121 is your fill premium. Gosh. So now, as I was blabbing, yeah. So we're gonna have 2 new channels in the Discord here. We're gonna do, so when you're finding like the divergences in net call premiums and net put premiums, so like this, so like today I'm gonna try to pick out maybe a couple a day. So like, okay, Nvidia today, so we're seeing a lot of bid side call premium here, so we'll pull up that net premium chart. Okay, well this isn't a good setup here, so that one wouldn't be a good example. Let's do Meta. So, well, Meta's not a good example there either because that puts down there. We'll see if I can find one. So coin calls maybe. So like coin would be a good example here if we didn't make a big move already. Like I'm going to try to find names that have not made a big move yet. So kind of something flat, and then like if you're seeing a big divergence, if I can find a good example here, that would be wonderful. Let's do the SMH here. So not a good, okay, we're going to look at put. So see, it's going to be kind of just kind of looking through stuff like this. Let me find the put premiums. Net put premiums. So essentially what you're going to be doing is, so like, and strategy's up on the day, so it's not a super good example. So like Nvidia, you're kind of down. Okay, we'll look at RG. Oh, no, you're down 4%. Okay, Apple. We'll look at Apple here. So, like Apple, you can see we're essentially kind of flat on the day here for Apple. Well, oh, wait, that's MU. Why the hell did I not click on Apple there? God, okay, anyways. So, like MU here would be kind of a good example. Not down a ton, but you're still seeing a lot of put premium, and then just kind of back that out 7 days, and going to be kind of looking for divergences like this without the little hiccups like that. And especially what I really want to do is kind of do like the gamma here. So like gamma, like okay, like ASST is seeing a lot of call gamma here, so I should probably pop that over to gamma here. So I'm going to try to find like divergences in this stuff. Like, okay, ASST is seeing a lot of upside gamma here. Price is diverged from that significantly. So this would be something that would get popped in that channel. And then vice versa. Like, let's do another one. Let's look at Tilray. Gamma. So like, okay, this one, not much here because price is pretty much in line with your level here of Gamma. Trying to see if I can find a Beyond. I know Beyond's obviously up a little bit. I saw this one a little earlier in the week when I was messing with this. So like Beyond, like this would be one that would probably get popped in there, where you're seeing a lot of positive upside Gamma where price hasn't hit that level yet. Something like that, because typically, and it doesn't always happen fast, but price will eventually kind of line up with those purple levels there at some point. You can see all this kind of more upside Gamma when we're trending down there. You can see we kind of popped up here. We didn't hit that high level yet, but a lot of positive Gamma there, so something to keep an eye on. And then like vice versa with puts. So like, let's just look at puts here. So you can even do it opposite. So like height is down here. So you can see a lot of negative Gamma on something like this. Price diverged. This would kind of be possibly looking for puts at some point, but just see how that price, your yellow line, hits that level at some point here. Can take time. I'd have obviously put a lot of time on those contracts, but something like this where you've been a lot of huge massive days to the downside there where price hasn't kind of caught up, and then if you want to look at flow with it. But yeah, I kind of plan on adding in those two channels. Let's see if we can find a decent, something else that's decent. Yeah, everything else just kind of flat here. So yeah, we'll plan on adding those in over the week in there. Another channel to find some good setups. TSM 1200 doesn't overlap earnings. Let's take a peek at these. Block trade, so we can't really get a good read on that. SPG, we can take a look for you, M1. SPG, let's see what we're getting. Let's take a peek. So we got some long dated calls there. We can look at these 180s too. You're getting kind of a bad bid ask. Let's just find not a lot of volume traded on this one. We're gonna look at that 180 here. Yeah, it's just not a lot of volume on something like this. Let me 10 contracts. Yeah, you can't really do much with 30, 40 contracts. Makes it a little tough. Let me kind of see how look at the chart. I'll take a peek at the chart here for you too. Just want to see from my knowledge here. Oh, I don't want 30 days. Let's just do at least 2,000. Yeah, like you just see it. I don't see. I mean, your biggest whale here is that 434 day whale there. Yeah, you just, I mean, that's your kind of your only biggest outlier, and then it looks like a put seller here as well too. Otherwise, I mean, not a ton. Let's look at the chart for you. Aren't these those people that have the those outlet stores? I believe so. Well, you are coming into, oops, resistance here, so I mean, historically, since 2018, I mean, we've rejected from this level, kind of came close, rejected, 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 Have to see what happens there. Trend-wise, though, since obviously April, let's do a quick little trend line for you. And you're sitting on that trend. I'd almost, if you really like the setup and you really want to play options, I would almost wait for a rejection of this resistance here. Bounce back to maybe that 167-ish area. Then look for a bounce back up. Otherwise, I mean, if you... Man, the weather here is killing me again. Otherwise, momentum-wise, if you wanted to look for a break above that resistance there, that'd be your spot. And I want to see if I can kind of get a little better zone in there too. It's kind of coming in here. And this would be your area that you want to see it break out of there. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty close to your 52-week high, and you're pretty strong here in the day. The only thing, obviously, with this would be if you kind of start seeing the labor market continue to weaken a lot. Obviously, malls and all that fun stuff are consumer heavy, so less jobs, less money for consumers, but it's a little different than like a Target and Walmart where they're strictly relying on consumers because they're paying rent for to have their stores in there, so they're still getting paid, but it's not like Target where like, oh, the customers aren't coming here, we're not getting paid. Well, the property group's still getting nope, you got a good point, M1. Yep. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's what I'd look for on here. I mean, break out of that or resistance, or I always like the discounted entries, and that would get you down to that 100-day moving average too, near that uptrend there. I just wish you had some better flow on that one, because it's not the best for flow. Wonder if I can pop it down to 1,000 and see if we get anything else. Yeah. And I wouldn't hit the ask on anything here. I mean, you are seeing a lot more, obviously, calls here versus, versus puts there, and you're seeing bid side puts. So it's a lot more bullish here. And those bid side calls, just because they're bid side doesn't mean they're a sell. And especially on a wide spread like that, you're probably going to get filled at the bid. Let's see what else I can take a peek at on here. Let's do some more research here. Gamma. So gamma wise though, could see a pullback, and that would align with that resistance area there on the chart. I want to come back here. Yeah, you just don't see a lot of premiums on this one. Big day back there on, looks like the 15th. Then a lot of bid side puts there. So, I mean, you're kind of crawling up there a little bit. Yeah, that's what kind of sucks about some of those. It makes it tough. And then your highest open interest chains. So 14 days, a lot of bid side puts on that. 195 calls all ask side. We'll look at that one for you. So the 4th looks like you had some come in here. Oh, it's gonna be a messy one. Roll maybe? Ooh. Yeah, that one I'm not even going to be able to probably pull into anything. Yeah, that's a nasty multi-legger. Short strangle looks like. Yeah, real good find though. Otherwise, I mean, get through that resistance. Might look good, and you're kind of popping there a little bit right now. Is the market popping again? Kind of just choppy now. open calls just had earnings. Basically, long dated, probably gonna overlap Q4 earnings. Yeah, no, that's a decent find. So like, open. I gotta get a drink here. 1 second. So like open here. This is a good example of like the net call premium divergence. You're getting killed on the day. Seeing a lot of call premium, a lot of bid side put premium here. You're down, but price is kind of trending with that. How do we look on a 7-day? And it is post earnings. So now looking at this on a 7-day view, look at your price there, or your price down here, and then your premium really diverged there. So essentially, could see price come back up to these levels here at some point. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at their earnings at all, and I'm not a big fan of kind of trading anything under $10. It's too slow for me. I'm not patient, but this flow looks good to me. It's still pretty break even-ish and with some time. Let's see what else we can look at. Oh, and then we just had a big spike come in there. So now that I said that, so 5,000 there, about another 5,000 there. I have to check that on Monday, but educated guess they're probably adding on to those. Let's go back here and look. Yeah, I mean, that's a massive spike there. You can see when we have those massive spikes, we tend to follow at some point. That was your big spike there. Just want to see how we're looking gamma-wise. So gamma, yeah, I mean, and like you can just see all that positive gamma, and it can take a while for that price to catch up. It's just kind of a tool to kind of get a view of maybe how market makers are looking at that stock. But you just see that price really diverge from those high levels there, and then continue to increase, and then there's your pop to hit all those levels essentially. So like now you're kind of decreasing a little bit. Could see a little move down there. After earnings is always sometimes kind of difficult just because everybody's trying to dip by, trying to figure out what way it's going to move. How we're looking for highest volume contracts. Bid side puts, everything else kind of 0 day, 7 calls for next week there. How did those come in? So it's probably that guy right there, 23 in there, 26, 29. Everything else 0 day, we'll kind of ignore those highs. So I'm interested. I'd look at this on Monday more. But 10 call, 14 days out. So these came in. Where did all that volume start coming in? Yeah, when you get a lot of volume like that and then turns into open interest, makes it hard to track exactly who's who in that. Just trying to look for a clean one. 0 days, that's not going to help. These look interesting to me. 13, oh, looks like it got modified. Probably a floor trade. So I have to double check that on Monday, see how much is actually there. I mean, and you're so deep in the money and it's multi-leg, probably not worth it. How are we trading volume to 30 days, so 1.5 times volume. Just want to come back here and look. Let's see, I'm looking for one of the big days here. That 4 times that daily volume. What a move on that day. So you're seeing, usually on those bigger volume days, a lot of positive movement there. 3 times volume, I mean 39%. What are we looking at for? Oh, and you just had more hit that feed there too. 150, 150, 151. And those strategies just keep coming in for next week. I want to take a peek. So I'm still sitting fear. Sector's energy. I mean, if tech wasn't down, you'd be pretty flat on the day, and we are still pretty kind of flat on the day. I mean, you'd almost look like a stronger day here. It's just tech weighing us down, and a lot of outflow the last couple days on that. I wanted to take a peek at, so Nvidia's getting the second most here. I'm gonna look at the volume here. So UAN, this is an interesting one because got that 30-day volume compared to what we're at right now. Let's see what's going on here. Something's up here. I mean, 203 times the normal volume. That is insane. But I don't see any decent contracts coming in today. These are interesting. 1219 100 calls. Maybe. Come on. Just kind of taking a peek here. 62% multi. Like a lot of volume spikes here though. Just not a lot of volume though on it. That's an interesting name to keep an eye on. 42, so the 100 one as well. Oh, we just looked at that. The 110. Yeah, you just don't get a lot of volume to kind of do anything. That's an interesting one to look at volume-wise. I mean, there's a lot of volume on that today. Let's go. Shit. See if we can find another decent one. So unusual volume. What else do we got here? Let's do one that I'm trying to find one that didn't make a huge move. So PXF here. That's an interesting one. No options on this one. Oh. What the heck is this? Let's see, PXF. Interesting. Yeah, just your highest open interest one here is a 14-day put, and it's only got 7 contracts traded on it. Interesting. Oh, I keep closing that out when I need to go back. Let's see what else we got. Not down. I'm just trying to find one that hasn't made a huge move. IXGC. Okay, not the best example again. I mean, that thing's getting killed today. Let's see, your most active. I don't care about those. Let's just take a peek here. Switch this over. So Wynn's getting a lot of volume today. And that's showing there on the premiums. Ugh, just ugly numbers right now. 9 times the normal volume. So they bought that up. They bought that dip up. above that on the weekly there. Back above that downtrend. I want to pop this to the daily. And it looks like just a quick little chart there. And you're sitting on that uptrend there coming back to April. So makes sense why you would have seen bounce there today. I mean, just see that nice clean up trend and there's your bounce. Alright, let's clean out some of these filters. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, like, this is a good thing to kind of do. Just kind of look at that volume on the 30-day and just what hasn't made a big move. Like RSG here, only about 0.5%, and you're trading 6 times the daily volume here. Just nothing for flow really though. Let's see, 14 days. Let's see, bid side call. Yeah, nothing super good there. Yeah, just kind of mixed, it looks like. Alright, let's clean up some of these and go back and look. So JBS, earnings, it's going to overlap earnings. More strategies on the weekly. IWM puts coming in, 362. Nope, I don't want that. I want this one. So these look kind of fishy. I mean, getting a lot of call premium now. Well, not a ton of call premium. Pretty flat mostly, but that put premium really tailed off there. Yeah, your IV is just decreasing, increase. I think this is that same one we kind of looked at a little earlier. Yeah, it is with that big premium. Yeah, that looks like a sell almost at the ask. We had some SPY puts just come in. Too small in size. You got a lot of volume on the day too. 6,000 there. You got 19 there. So 29, about half. Yeah, I'd like to see a little more size and premium on that. Multi-leg, multi-leg. Yeah, just lots of multi-leg junk today. Those CoreWeave earnings puts are interesting there. $7% out of the money. Earnings on the RGTIs too. Wow, those came alive at the end of the day. This is interesting. Big premium, big size. We just had earnings, a little longer term. Probably a block trade, but we'll see. Oh, we're getting cream today. 80% out of the money. Kind of far out of the money. What's our volume? Yeah, if it wasn't a block trade, it would be a lot better read on something like that. That one contract doesn't really mean anything to me there. Let's see. It's that 36%. FCX puts, okay. Not earnings, let's just double check that. Volume and open interest coming in at the ask. Decent premium for a weekly, 4% out of the money. And there's your puts. I just want to double check this volume that's going on. 4,000. Might be getting out at the ask there, 26, and trading at 36. Might be getting out there, 5,000. Actually, looks like they probably got out yesterday, so 5,800 there on the 5th. most of that coming over into the 6th. Then a lot of volume yesterday and decrease in open interest here. So some contracts handed off and some closed there. So I would not even want to attempt to take something like that. 44, 45, yeah, even though that IV is kind of going up there. I think they're getting out here. Would want to double check that on Monday though, and especially being that far. And it's not too far out of the money, but 2 days of theta decay. What else do we got here? Who's getting cream today? And let's see, HRTG, the 61826s, small volume. Looks like this is the only thing that kind of came in today on it. Probably a block trade too. Yep. SPY puts some more 105-day SPY puts coming in, so 567, 560. So now you're sitting at about 867,000 in premium here. Yeah, that's just one you'd want to double check that open interest. Oh wait, 82% multi-light. Ignore me. Closing hard end of the day. Let's see. Well, we might finish green. At least on SPY. Let's clean this up. Yeah, just overall, I mean, just a lot of puts again here. These were interesting to me. Obviously, 3 big spikes. You have to kind of see what happens there. Getting killed now. Yeah, I saw these earlier, and I was like, near the low of the day. Probably not. 1040, 1045. Yeah, I'm not a fan of chasing stuff when it's down already. Those IWM puts made a good move for us the other day. 392, they came up and hit 442. Looks like they're probably closing there for a loss, and that's why I'm always saying put a stop on or a limit or a trailing stop, because there you are. That whale was up decently and then probably getting out there for a loss. Alright, heard a ding. Oscar, let's see. Bad bid asks fill there. A lot of volume kind of now. Yeah, you're split. Bid ask there. Looking at that. 5 through 13, 119. IV drops, yeah. Not looking like the best there. IV just coming back down again there. Yeah, it could be sells there. Up 6.5 or 6 1/3 there. Today, 7 days. Expecting data to probably eat those away. And we are going to close green on SPY. I'm mad because I had the 675 calls here. Nope, I had the 674. Yep, there you go, 270 low. That sucks, I sold those for a loss. Even though it was just kind of a little lotto there. Okay, clean that up. Clean that up. We still sitting in fear. Still fearful. Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, most sectors are pretty green, decently green. Those Datadog puts 340, then they chopped it at 367, chopped in at 360 for a little bit. I have a stop on something like that. That's interesting too, because you're climbing and call participation is very limited. We looked at those. Nice little climb into close though. I don't remember where I said it, but I know we were talking about it in the chat. And I said I'd like to see that move kind of back into that little support zone. I have to go pull it and find it, but nice candle to finish the day there. Still kind of a nasty weekly candle though. Sitting at that average volume there. How are we today? Oh, better volume today of that 30-day. Pretty big volume day. Pretty big volume day. Yeah, and your premium's just kind of sitting there bid side now too. Everything's just bid side now. Coming back a little bit though, filled that gap. Still got that other upside gap there to fill, looks like. Yeah, I want to see some more ask side call premium coming here. I mean, it's majority been put premiums here. A lot of call premium that day. I mean, you did get a little move up, but a lot of that there, but looks like probably came off the table there. I want to see how Nvidia is finishing. Well, Nvidia is actually green on the day now. That's funny. And Nvidia is going to always be kind of a dip buy there. Just drawing a quick trend line here. Got earnings coming up next week. Not next week, 2 weeks from now. Alright, well, thank you for hanging out, everyone. Probably hop off here. Market's closed, so get everybody's data up and then work on some videos and some new channels over the weekend. Have a great weekend, everyone.